Hello folks, welcome to Mandi Ki Baatein, our effort to showcase what we do here at ReshaMandi and how we are creating the ecosystem. Today with me, very interesting, I have my other wife and my founder and my childhood friend Saurabh Agarwal with me. He leads most of our support functions and I believe today would be an interesting talk. Saurabh, say hi.
Hello, hey everybody. Let's see if you can get some meaningful insights from this conversation I'll have with him.
All right, why did you come back from US and do this?
So simply put, I think 2 or 3 reasons. जिसकी वजह से I came back. The first was you, obviously. I got a comfort कि you know the sector and I was confident together we'll be in it and वो एक vibe होती है जो match कर रही थी. So that was the biggest comforting factor. I think उसके अलावा second factor was जब when I did my previous startup, right? And I've told you multiple times when I did that, I always felt कि I lacked sales. So and I saw you as a very hardcore sales guy. He used to convince me about everything that he was saying. So I was like, okay, if he can sell it to me, he can sell it to anybody. So that was complementing between each of us. And then I think third and the biggest point was the sector we were going to deal in. Roti kapda makan अगर कपड़े में आ ही रहे हैं तो उससे बड़ी market or the TAM which we will address was huge. So large enough value was to be created with a friend who is complementing what I don't know. So I think it was a no-brainer.
I think there has been very less discussion about the patents that you've pulled, the technology that you've built over so many years. And I don't think that's out there in any of the media publications. How did that journey happen?
Okay. I think that journey of patents and innovation happened when I was with Cisco. So I'm a hardcore deep tech guy sitting in server rooms, writing code and talking to customers to solve their problems. So initial 3-4 patents that I gathered were from my earlier startup where we were doing SDN consulting. That is when I got the flavor how to do patents, what to do and what is the novelty of an idea, how to go about it. And then once I joined Cisco back after my startup, I realized there was a friend called Rahul Kachalia who was with Cisco and we together with Manoj, 3 or 4 people built hardcore technology in ZeroConf networking where today your Chromecast device, your Apple TVs connect, how do you connect and operate them, right? So that technology stack over wide area we built and for that I did a lot of patents and 7-8 patents there, 3-4 earlier, so a dozen patents. But yeah, that's not something that excites me. What excites me is actually solving for the real problem. Real problem that we solved there was you can control an Apple TV or consider a TV in a room. You can control the TV in United States sitting in India. So how do you do that with a remote, right? That's the technology we developed.
How does the technology team of ReshaMandi imbibe this thought?
How does ReshaMandi team? So I have some stellars here. We have Shiv Killer, who is a very old friend of mine. We have Ankur, who is again an old friend, right? So they have seen me in early days of coding. They still tell me the majority of the base code has been written by Saurabh. Today we have 60 plus services running, microservices running. But I think it is when they have seen me in action and how I think and how I write things and how I always tell them that if you're developing a widget, think of it as a broader perspective. Can I contribute it back to the open source community? If you're doing this, can we build a SaaS out of it? Can we do this? So it opens up their mind to not think limited.
Let's digress a bit. We've spoken about the technology, but you've shifted from technology to boardroom. How's that shift?
Oh my God, that has been it has both been a fantastic experience, obviously, but it has been a great learning as well for me. Like we said in the last board meeting, right? The first board meeting was a disaster probably, but we have learned over a period of time. So now coming to the experience, I think with time I have evolved in going into those meetings and presenting. Sometimes you have to give a 50-minute presentation in 5 minutes. Sometimes you have to take the 5-minute presentation and explode it to 50 minutes. All those things happen, but it is exciting. I think naturally whatever is thrown at me and you as well, we take it in the stride and just move on. So
all right. So few of you know this. He is also about to become a social influencer. If you've not followed him, do follow him. But marketing has never been part of what you do, right? But here you kind of look at marketing. How's that working out for you?
I think I look at HR. Okay, I always loved philosophy and human psychology and those things. So HR, I think I can manage. Technology is my core forte, product, tech, all these things. Marketing especially has been a very, very big challenge for me. And in all honesty, it is Mayank driving the initiatives and me just taking the hunter and going behind Sunan saying, execute, execute, execute. So I think with that, we complement each other and just get it done.
But what is marketing for you?
What is marketing for me? For me, marketing is letting the world know what ReshaMandi is all about.
Okay.
In the right sense, be it a customer or non-customer, they knowing the narrative, what we are trying to build and what we are trying to do. I think that's what marketing is.
Nice. Okay, so you've touched upon you're handling HR, and most of the growing companies have this ever recurring problem of human resources. Either you're not finding them, or if you're finding, you're not finding the right talent. And if you do find the right talent, they'll leave after a while. How have you been able to, get the right team in place and still been able to manage these superstars?
How have we been able to scale our human resources quickly? I think it has to do a lot with Sophronia and the team she has built around her, right? But essentially having the clear org structure and who will do what, how will they be placed, what will be the hierarchy, like we decided early on. There will be a sales team, there will be a sourcing team, there will be a merchandising team or a ops team in each of the business verticals. For support functions, this is how we split it. These are the functions we need. If that clarity is there with people, right, I think hiring becomes easier. Now to source profiles and everything else, I am very proud to say that 45% of employees which come into ReshaMandi are through referral.
Nice.
So there is a network effect happening there. There are very few people which are outsourced and from agencies, right? So internally the ecosystem itself is building itself. So if Sunant has come, he has brought 2 more people. If Mayank Tiwari is there, the whole leadership team has been brought by Mayank Tiwari. If technology team is there, it has been brought by Saurabh Agarwal. Retaining talent, that's a very interesting part about us, because I think deep down all the techies, all the people I see working around at ReshaMandi, right, they want to create impact.
Right.
And once they see that light, okay, whatever I'm doing, if I'm building a feature in the base platform or the mobile app, how will it impact the end life of the customer? Once they see farmer, okay, he'll get this insight, his produce will increase, or retailer, I'm actually solving for real world problems. I think that's a motivator enough for people to stay.
I'm going to an anecdote. Anecdotals, I love anecdotals. So there was a time in ReshaMandi when the yarn business was yet to figure out the PMF, right? And people who don't know PMF, it's just product market fit. But anyway, so it was yet to get to a PMF, and you had never done sales before. And because I was concentrating on the other parts of the business, I asked you to look at yarns. What was that experience for you?
In one word, that was a nightmare for me. And you know this, that's why you're asking this. Because like I said, I've never been a sales guy or a field guy. My job was always to sit on the desk and write code, right? So it was a hard leap, but it was the need of the hour. So I took that plunge, went into the market with Manish. It has been fabulous knowing Manish, Vikas, Harish was there at that point of time. But going to the market, understanding what is happening, what is not happening. In all essence, it was a nightmare, because every day morning, 7 o'clock, I had to wake up, go to Chamrajpet or Chickpet and meet these customers who were always like, oh, what will you do? We know the market. You don't know the market, right? So all that learning was there. But I'm happy that team took the summaries I gave them or insights I gave them. One or two highlights there were that our team at that point of time was dealing in 30 categories. We were doing silk yarns, and in silk yarns we were doing 1890 raw, we were doing 2022, we were doing katans, we were doing everything. So basically it was like we meet a customer, whatever he asks us, these guys were trying to source it.
Right.
I went in an opposite approach. I looked at the data, and that's what I do. I'm a desk worker, right? So I looked at data and everything, and I figured there are only two things we need to do.
Right.
We need to sell CB gold in 2022 category. 18-19 ARM white is what sells. So we consolidated the team at that point of time and figured these are the two highest selling SKUs that we have. Let's only focus teams on that. So the whole sourcing team got aligned ki we will only source this, and the demand team sales team got aligned. These are the only two things you are selling in the market. Go fetch demand for this.
Right.
And I think because of that, that was my contribution ideally to yarn business, and from there it evolved, I think.
Perfect. So the people who are listening to us, the product market fit generally does not come to you if you're not looking at data or not knowing exactly what your customer is wanting from you. With us, this was one of such instance, and us finding our product market fit right. Today, yarn business does 30 crores per month, and it's swelling, and it's spreading its footprint across India, and now we are also looking at importing and exporting. So I believe people or the founders who are listening to us, please do take notes, and I hope you learn something out of this anecdote. Thank you so much for that. You have any questions for me?
So Mayank, only one question for you, which has two parts to it.
Okay.
One is, how do you identify stress, that you are under stress? How do you know it?
Right.
And how do you deal with it? It is very important, I think, from the founder's perspective to know that there is always stress, and how do founders relate to stress and how do they tackle it. Everybody has their own means. Let's know how Mayank Tiwari handles it.
Me knowing about this stress is me getting calls back to back, sometimes team coming in and out of my office. That is, वो कहते हैं ना कि तूफान से पहले की शांति है, यहाँ पे तूफान से पहले का तूफान है वो तूफान बताता है कि शायद बाहर से कुछ एक तूफान आने वाला है. So that creates the stress. How do I deal with stress is very simple. Go for a swim at 5:30 in the morning, wake up. For me, that's the most distressing time. I'm not listening to anybody. I am talking to myself. I am imbibing my thoughts. I'm putting my thoughts together, and I'm basically making sure that I'm ready for this day. Being ready for the day is very, very important for a founder specifically, because all of a sudden when you start a company, when you're a small company, everybody thinks that पता नहीं क्या होने वाला है, कुछ फट गया तो फट गया, बंद कर देंगे कंपनी. That's how you're thinking, right? But when it starts to go high, and then you get into your rounds and you start doing investor talks and you start closing your rounds. I mean, when we started ReshaMandi, we never thought we'll pick up so much of money in equity or get to a valuation where we are getting to. But I think all of a sudden, the entire scenario around you changes. That's also a stress. That adds on to your stress. Because in one day, people are now thinking that you are matured, you will talk like a Kumar Mangalam Birla and Ratan Tata. Being prepared for that day as to what is to come in your life today is very, 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 very important. I think my swims kind of take that exhaustion out. This is it from us. We will be back with a new season, where you'll get to see our business leaders, people who bleed numbers on a daily basis in ReshaMandi. You will hear as to what that business is all about, how they've built this business, and how we go about doing things when it's about stressing time on sales, or it's about a stressing time on you getting a panic call from your weaver somewhere in Bhagalpur. How you handle those situations, what's more there to come in season 2. While we are wrapping, let me put it this way, you will basically be able to, towards the finale of our next season, you will again have me and Saurabh, but you will have me and Saurabh talking more about our personal life, getting to know each other more better. So tune in, stay tuned, do subscribe, and make sure that you're learning something every day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
मंडी की बातें